Everyone, welcome back to my channel, Side Hustle Seattle. Today I have with me Kristina and I have Shawn, who you guys should all know. We're going to bring you a little bit of a different video. So as notaries, we know we interact with a lot of different people in the real estate space, but you don't always get to hear their perspective, especially when it comes to RON. So Kristina is actually a virtual real estate agent. And Shawn, as you guys know, is a full-time RON, as well as many other things. So we're going to have a good conversation about how they kind of interact together, how the other kind of feels about it, and just kind of which ways you can work better with real estate agents to further your notary business. So let's kick it off with some introductions. Kristina, since we haven't heard from you yet, since you're new to the channel, give us the rundown. What do you do? Who are you? Tell us about everything.
My name is Kristina.smallhorn. I run a YouTube channel with over 180,000 subscribers and about 26 million or 23 million, somewhere around there, 23 to 26 million video views. I help people find affordable housing options across the United States. That my channel is always about trying to find somebody a home that's affordable for them in their area. My business runs on the fact that because I do help so many people across the country, I connect them with real estate agents that would fit for their specific needs. So I work a referral program for those real estate agents.
Well, you said 180,000 subscribers?
Yeah, 180,000 subscribers.
Oh my goodness. What kind of videos? So like what kind of videos do you post? Like what's the name of your channel?
It's my name. It's Kristina.smallhorn.
Yeah. Wow. And are your videos just solely around, like I said, just kind of like giving people advice on real estate and things like that?
I give advice on real estate. I help people that are looking for an alternative home other than just the traditional stick-built home. I show them what the options are. I tell them what the pros and cons of those homes are. I tell them how to buy land. I show them how, give them some good tips about purchasing land. I do a weekly show where we talk about the real estate market and everything that's happening in the real estate market. And then they can ask their questions live to me on that show every single Sunday.
I'm definitely tuning in. I'm like, my husband and I are in the process of like thinking about buying a home and kind of going through that whole thing. It's crazy time right now. So it sounds like the perfect thing for me in this moment for sure. I have more questions on all of that later, but Shawn, for the people who don't know you, give us the breakdown.
My name's Shawn Cofield. I'm what you call a remote online notary signing agent. So basically we do notary public work digitally instead of with paper. I do everything with my laptop, and as well as real estate contracts. I get the buyer and the seller, and we finalize the paperwork with the title companies, or I work with attorneys as well. So that's what people know me for. And
you're full-time?
I am a full-time RON.
Never have been mobile?
No, I was mobile, but I learned really fast that it wasn't for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So is it just RON, like the full-time job? Or do you do other like things around kind of the RON space?
Yeah, I mean, I have an apostille business. I do the IPEN as well. I'm still mobile when it comes to that. I just don't do the traditional mobile notary. So my lanes are training other RONs, notaries to become RONs. RON as far as my own work, and then apostille, which is legal documents between two countries.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because I don't know this term. What does RON mean?
Remote online notary.
All right. Well, I learned something new today.
Yeah. Yes. One thing about being in the notary space, the acronyms everywhere.
Yeah. IPEN stands for in-person electronic notarization. That just means you're riding around with your laptop versus paper and pen and stamps.
Oh, well, good. I learned something new today. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kristina, you're a virtual real estate agent. So why, and really you said that you don't sell, right? Or you don't sell, you mainly refer, right? So a couple things, why the virtual route and why not take on kind of the clients yourself? Why more referrals?
So I kind of had this idea that before the pandemic, I was going to like kind of build a team where I would hand off all my leads to team members, right? But as my channel was growing, I realized I was reaching more of a national audience. And as everything started unwinding with the pandemic, I was like, I don't know if I really want to be around people that might be like infected with something.
Yeah.
I do have a father who has cancer. My mom's 76. She has COPD and they're older, and I don't want to be the one that's responsible for anything to happen to them. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to deal with I'm going to try to hand this off to as many people as possible. But it seemed like the people that were really reaching out to me weren't even in my state to begin with. I was like starting to connect people with a lot of other real estate agents around the country. And I was like, I can make a really good living doing it this way. And I'm like, so then as the check started rolling in, my husband's like, you just found the hack of real estate. You don't have to deal with the headache of it all. And you get to collect, it's not, of course, it's nothing like a commission check as a real estate agent, but you do enough of them. I mean, it's pretty good money, good living, it's not anything to sneeze at. So, yeah, so that's when I decided like this is the way for me. Cause there's 100 different ways. I mean, there's not one right way to do real estate. And I'm not looking to like, roll in cash like Scrooge McDuck. I just, there's a certain income I would like to make. I make that and it works out really well. I have, I get my referral checks. I have affiliate marketing on my channel as well. I also do some sponsored videos. I also get AdSense from YouTube. So all of this virtual stuff wouldn't happen unless this creator economy had started. So it's really worked out really well for me. If anything, the pandemic had done was force me to do something that was out of my comfort zone, but it was a good thing. It was a really good thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like you said, it's like a hack of real estate. Is that something that's something you kind of found on your own, right?
I fell into it.
Do you teach people how to do it as well?
How to do YouTube?
No,
or how to do
kind of what you're doing within the real estate space.
There isn't anything special about it. Like I do a live stream. People are like, what's your calls to action? I'm like, being a human being.
Yeah.
It always ends up happening naturally when I'm talking to somebody in a live stream. Somebody will say, I'm having a really hard time with my real estate agent, or I'm having a hard time finding a good real estate agent, or they won't answer their phone. So inevitably I just say, oh, look, if you're having a hard time finding a real estate agent, I'm actually connected with thousands of real estate agents across the country. Go ahead and fill out the referral form on my website. I'll give you a call, which I do. I call every single one of them. I call them and then I kind of like feel them out and see what they personally need. And then I contact the agents I do know across the country. Working for EXP, the company that I work for, we are very fortunate in the fact that we have a group of agents that are in this referral network. We have a referral network within EXP. So whenever something like this comes about and I don't have an agent, I can automatically post it in that group. And then there, 5, 6, 7 agents answer and I can interview them. And I do every single one of them. Some of them will say, I think you're too new. I don't think this is going to work out. That's what I end up doing. So I always take care of each and every person. And the people feel that call me or that I speak to them, they can't even believe I actually took the time to call them. And then when I get them connected with somebody, they're always so thankful that I, took that extra time and extra step for them. But I mean, how much time is it really? They spent 10 minutes watching one of my videos. Why don't I just take 10 minutes to give back to that?
Yeah, no. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was in the beginning, when I ended up on this path where I'm at, I started out studying real estate to get my license. And I was intrigued by that whole referral process as well. So I just want to make sure I'm clear. It's not about an incoming buyer coming specifically to your state. This is both directions, right? As far as your referrals.
I don't sell. I don't actually personally get in my car and sell real estate anymore.
I'm saying the referral part of it. You can refer someone coming into the state, going to another state, as long as you're connected with another real estate agent and they sign.
Right. Whatever the transaction is, even if they're getting a condo, whatever. But I'm really nice because when I refer stuff out, normally a real estate agent would take around 25% for referrals. Some of them have been as high as 30 to 35% recently, which to me is highway robbery, because if they're running around, they're doing a lot of work. I only ask for 20% in referral fee, which they're always like, oh, wow, thanks. They're always so thankful. Right. And then I also I always let them do their thing. I don't hound them. I'm not up their butt. And then I also leave it open to the people that I have referred to, like the people that have contacted me. I'm like, look, if you have any problems during this process, call me up, because I need to know that. Because if there is a problem, I'm going to take them off my referral list right now. Like it's important for, I'm connecting you with this person because I trust them. But if there's a reason why I shouldn't, please let me know. And they're always like, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. You're great. But it's important. That is important. You don't want to send people to the wrong agent.
Absolutely. First of all, I never knew that kind of world existed. I'll be honest, mainly because I don't, I haven't bought a house. So I haven't had to go through that kind of process and things like that. So it's always so interesting hearing about it. As far as how you interact with notaries, how have you kind of, in your like virtual real estate world, what does your interaction with notaries look like?
Today it doesn't look like it did like a couple years ago. So here in Louisiana, I don't know if you know this or not, we have a lot of like crazy inheritance laws. And so if someone like passes away, it doesn't actually go to the spouse. Everything goes to the children and their children's children. It all goes down. It can become a real nightmare. And so with notaries, we have all them running around verifying signatures so property can be sold. It becomes a thing, because I don't know if you know this, but I don't know how it works in other states, but if we go and you'll say, go get your signature notarized, you're going to have it notarized. You can go up to like one of these copy stores. They'll say notary on duty. And you're like, oh, thank God. And you get in your car, because nobody knows when they're going to need a notary. Yeah. And you go in there and sure enough, they're like, oh, they're not going to be here. You're going to have to make an appointment. Then why do you say there's a notary on duty? There's no notary on duty. It's a lie. It's big.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we always have to have notaries that verify signatures. In some cases, when you're buying foreclosed properties, they will not have a title attorney actually close the property, because all the title work and the attorney work has already been done with the foreclosure company itself. So all they need is a notary to verify the signatures. Some notaries out here will get in their car and do it like 10 o'clock at night, stamping stuff. I've had that. I did that. Was in a workshop in the middle of Gonzales at this guy's workshop at night when it's raining, and this guy comes out and notarizes stuff from his car. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Have you ever, Shawn, been hit up by like a real estate late at night or anything like that, who just needed like a last minute thing? How's your interaction with real estate agents been?
Ironically, yes. One of my earlier experiences as a RON, I met a young lady at a house party, and she was a real estate agent. And of course, we had that common denominator as far as conversation. And she was telling me she works for ESP, and that was the first time I had heard of them. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a virtual agent," so I'm really intrigued listening to what she's saying. And then I was explaining to her that I'm a remote online notary, because I asked her, "Do you deal with signing agents?" She said, "Oh yeah, I have my guy I'm so loyal to in person." I said, "Cool," but I'm excited now, because I'm like, "Look, you're online and I'm online. This is match made in heaven. Let's work this out." But it wasn't clicking for whatever reason, maybe because we're kind of in party mode. 2 months down the line, I gave her some business cards and left. 2 months down the line, I get a frantic call from the same agent, and it was like, "Hey, I remember talking to you at the party about this online thing. I have a client who and it might have been even like you said, Christine, like a referral situation." She was like, "I have a client. I'm trying to get it closed, but they're in Puerto Rico. You was talking about this online thing. How does it work? Can you help me?" "Sure, no problem." Gave me the information. Worked up the docs. Contacted the signer in Puerto Rico. We got online. Closed the transaction for the property. No problem.
Have you done a mortgage transaction for them?
Yes. I have. We did referrals as well. Referrals from title companies, referrals from law firms, referrals from other real estate agents. So
nice. Okay. And Christina, have you ever used, so you were talking about like mobile, somebody comes over, 10 o'clock at night. Have you ever used a remote online notary before, or have you not really heard about that prior to now?
I know it's a thing, because I know that there's people that have purchased land via, the whole thing was done online. I know it's a thing. I have not personally have dealt with that kind of transaction myself. So, And now I don't know if I will because of the way I run my business now, but who knows? I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why you would need to have a signature or documents notarized. So the convenience of having that available now is fantastic. You know, like people always say, the world is moving so fast. And in some ways it's a good thing. In some ways it's a good thing to have to like, nothing makes you more sick than to wake up and you're like, I have to have this right now. And you're like, how can I do it right now? Like, I can't. It's like, and so if that's available to somebody.
Sounds like this could be the birth of a new secondary referral business for you then, right? You have a whole database full of real estate agents and you can start slowly building some for notaries as well.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like this is a tough thing I got going here.
I hear you. Yeah, no, it's interesting, right? Because you said that you've heard of it, but you haven't necessarily used it yet. Shawn, in your experience, do you run into a lot of people who have just like not heard of it or heard of it and used it, or maybe it's like
it's about 50-50 across the board, whether you're an attorney, a real estate agent, a title company, sign service. It's about 50-50. It was really bad before. It was like 80-20, you know, when COVID first hit, but you know, the awareness is there. The states are coming on, you know, gradually. I think, what state was that? Connecticut just popped on, Louisiana, I think, as well. But I do have a question for Kristina. Even though previously you were like a traditional brick and mortar, how were you ever approached by a notary or even the whole closing process? Did you just leave that to the escrow officer, like, let them deal with it?
Well, in Louisiana, like as soon as your contract is done, you send it over to the title company and everything's done within the title company. So it was like, I've had this relationship with a couple title companies here. I mean, I don't have to do anything. They're very thorough, you know, and they're really good at walking and explaining the process to people that are moving into the area and how things work. Some states are completely different when it comes to closing. You have to go to the escrow office here, then you got to go to the title attorney's office here, and you got to bring your own lawyer in for the seller to close. Like we don't have that here.
Right.
Virginia, we don't have that here. Yeah, we're very low key, laid back when it comes to real estate. They're like, "Do you want it? Yeah. Do you want to buy it? Yeah. So let's sign here." That's it. Yeah, we don't get too technical.
Okay.
Absolutely. So Shawn, for the people who have you ever had somebody outright be like, "No, I don't want to try it. I don't want to do it"?
Let me think. A no for me is I never hear from them again. Like they don't either respond to an email or, you know, again, if I introduce myself and give them cards, well, that's usually a no. It's never like no, you know, in front of my face. Maybe they're just being polite, you know. I don't know. Maybe I got a scary looking face. They want to upset me. Who knows what it is, you know. But, so yeah, that's usually what a no is. A lot of times I think it's a matter of circumstance. When need arises, all of a sudden everything clicks into place and they're like, oh yeah, I need to use this. Because I had another situation with the realtor who was actually a notary as well in North Carolina. And they would explain to him, you know, the same thing. Hey, this is an advantage. You can use it. And they were like, well, we're in North Carolina. We have to deal with attorney states. I get it. I'm legal in all 50 states. I understand. Yeah. Wasn't clicking, right? Again, a couple months later, I get a frantic call saying, hey, I'm trying to close a deal with my signers in Connecticut, but you know, the property obviously is in North Carolina. Can you help? Sure. Send me the paperwork. Let's go for it. The problem was we got all walked up to the line, but the title company wasn't on board at that time. Even though it was legal, they just weren't ready. And you know, sometimes you have to, you know, walk that line and do that little dance with them and explain it. And then sometimes I have to educate them right in the middle of the transaction, say, hey, look, this is possible. Some will say, okay, let's go for it. You know, I did one in, you know, like the one we met in Russia, that was like that. Or they'll be like, I'm going to go a different route. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Or Kristina, I want to touch on, because I heard you say, was that because they're the real estate agent and a notary?
Yeah, yeah, because I don't know. My whole thing is that like real estate agents are kind of funny,
Yeah,
like if they know a lot, they feel like they know a lot, or they
Yeah.
took a class once or watched a webinar, then all of a sudden they know everything. So they like to educate you on your job. And I'm
Yeah.
always
yes.
like, oh, zip it, zip
Yeah.
it. So when he said that, I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. On the
Yeah.
behalf of real estate agents that aren't jerks, I'd like to say I'm very sorry in advance.
You're
I
good.
appreciate that. There's some other people in our real estate ecosystem that kind of have that same attitude. So they end up coming back. It's like the apostille business.
I
Like, I'm gonna
know.
do it myself, and then they see how complicated it is, and like, oh yeah, never mind. I'll pay the money.
I know.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing. If there
Sure.
is anything that has been a good thing about this whole pandemic, it forced people that would have normally said no for eons to actually have to step back and say, we don't have a choice. We have to do it this way. The
Yes.
people that have been so stubborn, like, nope, this is the way we've been doing it for 50,000 years.
Yes.
They have no choice now but to do it that way. And this forced a lot of companies to rethink things. It's forced a lot of people to rethink their, the way of thinking of things. Just because it's been done this way for a million years doesn't mean that it's the wrong way now. And we can get things done so much faster if other people would just change their minds. And that is one of the hardest things for anybody to do is
Yeah.
to change their mindset. So force people to do it.
Do you feel like it's
Force
going to
people.
stick though, right? Because like you said, if forced people
Yeah.
coming out of it, do you think it's going to be continued?
Oh yeah.
Yes, because I don't think that people realize the importance. Most people don't realize the importance of having a notary there. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's just this guy has to put this freaking stamp on it with my signature. Oh, they don't realize how incredibly important it is. And they don't realize how much education you have to have in order to be a notary in the first place.
I'm glad
It is.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because even it's like saying in our world we take it on the chin, but somebody's like, oh, just need the notary. But technically we're a signing agent because we had to go to an extra step, but they just say notary. But at the end of the day, we're like, you know what? When a good friend of mine named Catherine, she said, yeah, I just pull up in my Mercedes and I'm just the notary and I do my signing. So you can call me what you want, at the end of the day. But yeah, technically we're signing agents when we're doing real estate transactions. And a lot of people don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is too, that if they were to see the questions on that test, I know attorneys that tried to do the sample test and didn't pass.
Oh wow.
Did not pass.
Wow.
Because it is a difficult test. Not everybody can be a notary. It takes a lot. You have to be extremely intelligent to be able to pass that test.
Just like real estate agents, same thing.
Oh no. Mm-mm. That test.
Uh-oh.
No.
Must be
No,
state.
well, the thing is, like here in Louisiana, it's actually more difficult because our state laws are completely different. We're run under Napoleonic law. So a lot of things that would be on the national test would not be the same as it would be for the state of Louisiana. So I passed the national test with flying colors. If I had missed one more question on that Louisiana test, that was it. I would have had to take it over again. I started crying. I was so happy that I freaking passed that thing. I'm not a good test taker, but I mean, the thing is if you're smart enough, you could take that test over a week. Just because you pass the test does not make you a good real estate agent, though. Exactly. The test is just a test. It has nothing to do with the actual career. It doesn't tell you anything about selling, how to deal with people, how to write contracts, how to represent your clients properly. It's just basically the laws and the understanding of what property is, what real property is, what inheritance is, what are setbacks, what are easements, that kind of thing. But it has nothing to do with the actual interactions and contracts. Yeah. Right. The stuff that's really, really important, right. Like if you don't understand your contract, you can really, really misrepresent a client incorrectly, like you need to understand it. That may look really simple to fill out. Like I know people are like, oh, I'm going to sell it for sale by owner. I've seen it. All you do is fill in the blanks. What you fill in those blanks makes a huge difference. You write something wrong, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck with this terrible offer. Well, you filled it out, buddy.
Too. Same thing with signing. Yeah, we have to explain it correctly.
That's what I was about to say. I feel like real estate agents probably have some of the same things that signing agents do, right? Which I feel like we're kind of now in a space where you see a lot of ads for like, become a real estate agent and make millions, become a signing agent and make millions off from home, right? There's a ton of those ads and people go into it like, oh, this is easy. I'm printing money, right? And then they get into it and realize just because you took the test, just because you checked the boxes, you didn't do, like, you're not good with people. You don't realize that you need to do your due diligence. And like, there's a lot of legal implications if you mess something up. And so I feel like there's that like aspect of it where maybe face value, it looks so easy. And then you get to it, you're like, wait, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Cream always rises to the top.
Anytime that somebody says all you do is easy money, passive income, just know that's also known as a red flag. There is no such thing as path. If it's worth it and you're making money at it, then it's going to be work. Anything that is making you bank is work. And you'll see some people, they're like, oh, he just sits back and he's got mailbox money, he's just collecting checks. I'm like, but what got him to that point? He wasn't always making mailbox money. He was doing all sorts of stuff to get him to this point so he could do that. He hustled. There was years of him working for 18 hours a day, only sleeping a few hours just to get to the point where he is now, where he doesn't have to do those things.
Exactly. So, and it's like, people look at you, Shawn, and they're like, oh, you're making X amount of money or you're killing it. And people are like, well, that doesn't work for me. And it's like, okay, well, you didn't start that way from the beginning. You do a lot
$5. No. A transaction. No.
Yeah. You did all the legwork and you did the networking that people don't see or expect not to do. And that got you to a point where you are now.
Correct.
So so I feel like you guys both acknowledge that, one, yes, the pandemic kind of forced people to change their way of thinking and kind of accept in some ways, remote online notarization, just a remote way of doing things, but that not everybody's on board. What do you think it would take to kind of tip the scales to people being more open to using kind of remote online notarizations or just this remote way of doing things more often?
I have my answer, but I'll let Kristina go first.
I would say a need. Like anytime, like everything sounds like a bad idea until you need it, right? For some people, they're like, I'm never doing that. And I'll give you a perfect example. When I was in high school in 1991, we were in an economics class and they pulled up a card. She said, in not too long, everybody's going to have all of their banking information on something that looks very similar to a credit card. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be able to put it into machines and they're going to automatically pull out money out of your bank account. And I remember my parents and I scoffing, going, why would we willingly give our bank account information to the Kroger down the road? No way. And then like, it wasn't too long. Everybody's putting their debit cards in all sorts of machines. Like, yeah, take it out of there,
Mm.
So I can't even tell you the last time I wrote a check. Well, I mean, I think it was my taxes. I paid my taxes last time I wrote a check. Nobody writes checks anymore. Everything's online.
Contrary, because I just had one from the apostille job, and it almost scared me because I was like, I take Zelle, PayPal, even Cash App. He's like, I write a check, and I said, oh, wait a minute, you want to do what? I said, well, it's got to clear first before I do any work because it's been so long since I've actually. I said, what about an e-check? You talking about that? He's like, no, a paper check. All right.
What the heck is that?
Right.
I know, it's sad. I've maybe written like 3 or 4 checks my entire life, right? And so like every time I still call my mom. I'm like, this look right? Because I do not know how to write this thing. But Shawn.
And people will say though, like older people will be like, that's a shame. They don't know how to write a check. Like, what's so shameful about it? They don't need to write a check. Why is that so shameful?
Right.
It's like people not knowing how to write in cursive. It's like nobody actually writes in cursive anymore. It's like not.
Why do you need it? What's the whole purpose behind it?
Yeah.
It just looks fancy. You're just about a fancy way of writing your name. Oh, you win.
Exactly.
You're not John Hancock, Karen. Just go ahead and just print it out.
This point. But John, what you said that you had kind of an answer for what would tip the scales. What are your thoughts?
Similar to what Kristina said, back them in the corner where the need gets exposed. For whatever situation where, if you have a situation where like you have a bunch of signers for a piece of property, right? Any kind of business, right? And there's a contract involved. You got one in Japan, you got two family members that aren't speaking to each other because they can't stay in the same room. So one's in the car, one's in the house, you know, one's at work, can't get off work. Yeah, that's a situation where we got to get it done. And technology takes the place and solves that problem. You know, that's the best solution. So my thing is back them in the corner. I've been waiting 20 years for this day to come. I didn't want it to come like this with a pandemic, but I knew it was coming, you know.
Absolutely. But it's circumstance, right? When they need it. So how do you network? And this is a question for both of you guys. How do you network with people within the real estate world? So that way, when that need comes, you're top of mind. Like, how do people go about that? Is it just dropping business cards? Is it following up? Like, what have you seen, Kristina? Like, where do you see when it's most?
I do video.
What'd you say?
I do video. Everything I do is video. I have a group on Facebook with over 8,000 agents that I started from scratch. And it, you know, everything's through video. I'm a video girl.
I really wanted to network with you. Like, what's the best way they would approach you?
Like I just reach it out. Like everybody does like you know, they can look at my signature tags and it's like my emails in there. I'm like on a lot of social media sites. They, you know, people inbox me on social media sites. And you know, they're a part of my group. And I like, if people ask a question in my group, I will answer them again with video. Because so that's what, I mean, that's how I've always done it. I just,
I would have to agree, but because Lorenz, she is my video. I'm not on the channel. So Kristina, I'll shock you. I have zero social media presence. I'm kind of old school with that.
And you're telling everybody to use an online notary and you're not online. Shut up.
Moron. I know.
I know. Get it together. There's no more excuses, dude.
Well, like I'm not buying it. My friendly proxies like yourself.
No. Yeah, like I think hit me up and tell me all the ways I should be online, but then like won't take his own advice. I'm like,
I'm a vessel. I'm a vessel. Okay, I'm shooting the messenger.
Yeah.
Those who do, those who can't coach.
Exactly. That exactly. Okay, wait. So Shawn, how do you go about approaching real estate agents that you think is replicable for other notaries?
So one nugget I will say is, particularly with agents, go to their open house and have a conversation. You know, be respectful. They're working with their clients and trying to sell the home. You can catch them before the open house starts or after it ends. Send them an email. No. Those probably Kristina helped me with this. Is every real estate agent required to join the NAR or no?
No, you're not. Okay. That's why you'll see the symbol above. Not everybody can use the name Realtor. You have to pay to have that membership. And that's, you know, you want the real estate agents that are Realtors because they sign a code of ethics that they are required to follow, or you'll lose that status. Now you can be a real estate agent, but you're not required to join.
That's
the National Association.
And signing agents, we have a code of conduct as well that we sign. So okay, so let me ask you this: if you're a brand new licensed real estate agent, where's the best place to catch those that where do they conjugate at? You know, is it they're on their own, or like how do you?
Well, every area is going to have their own like chamber of commerce. So I always say, you know, you like join your chamber of commerce and get connected with those people. I always say also, you know, meet with title attorneys, have them take you to lunch so they can explain their services. When I became a brand new agent, that was something that I did very early on. I met with all the title attorneys in the area just to see who I did want to send my contracts to that I was working with. And the busier I got, more title attorneys were getting a hold of me. So I love that free lunch. I did that a lot. I gladly took that free lunch. So the one thing that's always, if you're a brand new agent, you'll find out you may be broke, but you'll never be hungry because at some point somebody's dropping off food always. If you work in an office, they're always dropping off for food. I would always say too, is when you're first starting out, make sure you're working underneath an agent that's been doing this and doing it a long time and that has time for you. It doesn't matter what company you work for. I just happen to work for a company that's all virtual, so I can work from home. It was something I had done way before the pandemic. But if it wasn't at the beginning, if I hadn't worked with somebody that was willing to work with me, I don't think I would have gotten as far as I have with this job, like,
Yeah.
well, there's something to be said.
Okay.
Like a mentor then?
Yeah, like a mentor. I mean, not more than just go get them. There's always these people, you can do it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
somebody that's like, no, like this is the contract. This is why this paragraph is so important. This is why you never want to say this. Look at this contract that came in. This is sloppy, and I'm going to show you why. And then they explain it all, and it looked great. I mean, I was like, oh, and then they start handing you the contracts and say, what makes this either a good or bad contract? Let me know. So we would go through it together. I mean, that is something that it virtually would be very difficult for people to emulate, unless you have a really good person on your side that can meet with you every, day. There is, so as much as I love the office I'm in, I don't know if I could have done it at the beginning unless I had somebody that was really on me to mentor me, because it was always whenever they had a free moment. Not every moment,
Exactly.
as you're on the phone all the time. So whenever I heard that phone hang up, I'd slip right into her office and be like, hey, what you doing?
I had another question. Because you're in the referral business, do you have a lot of interaction with your other real estate agents or active ones? Do you hear conversations of, what their day-to-day life is, or you don't? Not really? I'm
like, because I'm in the real estate world all the time. I have this real estate group that's full of real estate agents. I also on Clubhouse. I don't know if you guys know what Clubhouse is. Yeah, so I'm on Clubhouse, and I talk to other real estate agents. I know you're not.
Nothing.
Mr. Online Notary that doesn't know how to do anything online, but anyway. So there's all sorts of groups in there. When it comes related to real estate,
the EXP ones, or like the other virtual ones, you have conversation with, it doesn't really matter with you.
I don't care what company you work for. Like, I don't.
I was just curious of their experience. The EXP ones in particular, though, do you have those kind of virtual conversations, or it's just strictly plain vanilla ABC real estate jargon that you're dealing with?
No, I mean we have all sorts of conversations. I mean, like, yeah, I mean I don't know, where people are people. I guess, I know that like in the real estate world, we always have just like you do in your world, you have your own like vernacular and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And whenever I use that kind of stuff in videos, I just write it out at the bottom, because I'm like, this is what this means, because I know most people won't know what that means. But I mean, But I mean, the EXP has their own like virtual, like you can go to the stadium. You're like a little avatar, and you can walk to the stadium and listen. And you're like,
metaverse. You
sit down. Yeah, like kind of like the metaverse. You sit down. You're like, hey, everybody, and then you can wave and you can dance. You do the Macarena, and you clap, and all sorts of stuff. It's just kind of it's one of those things from the very beginning. It was there, and then like if you want to go to class, you take your little avatar, like The Sims, but it's really you.
Yeah, no, that's actually like, I've heard of that before, with people doing that, and they'll do like virtual concerts and stuff, which I just think it's like the wildest thing. Like, I would love to do that. So you talked about mentoring. Shawn, did you have a mentor? Because you're a mentor to other people, right? Like, you mentor people, you have your mentor group, you have did you ever have a mentor, or did you wing it?
So it was kind of the wild west. I'm not going to put this person on blast, but there is a popular notary signing agent that's out there, NNA affiliated, that I reached out to, and like I said, fell on deaf ears. So at that point, the RON remote situation was very new as far as necessity. It wasn't new when as far as the concept has been out for a while. But to answer your question, I kind of just figured it out myself, and then that's what birthed the whole training program that I have, because there was no information. You remember we had that conversation. You were telling me like, there's nothing out here. Come on video and talk about it.
Absolutely. So for the sake of kind of everybody's time, I want to make sure I'm respectful of it, because I could ask questions all freaking day. But any Kristina, I want to make sure, like, if people want to get in touch with you, I'll absolutely have your information in the description, especially for people to check out your channel, because that's amazing. But any words you'd want to leave anybody with, kind of as far as interacting with real estate agents or kind of just anything around that space.
And just know that no matter who you're working with, you're never trapped. And if you're working with somebody that you're uncomfortable with, that you feel like you're not gelling and you're not being represented fairly, even if you signed a broker or agreement of some sort, there's always a way around it, because you shouldn't be forced to work with somebody that isn't working for you. And so just know that, like, if that's the case, you can get out of it. That would be my advice to anybody that's working with a real estate agent that they are having a problem with.
Absolutely.
That's a selling point. I try to talk. That's one thing. Real quick, I'll answer the question again. Talking to a realtor, I try to sell the matter of convenience to the agent, the real estate agent. Say, hey, look, if this is an incentive for somebody to sign an exclusive contract with you, because they get to the point where it's ready to close, they can do it at the convenience of their own home or remotely or whatever. So that's one of the things I bring up.
100%. And then what would you say, Shawn, is just like something that you want to leave Rons with that they can kind of take away from this conversation?
Don't be scared of technology. I get a lot of mobile notaries who are fighting or hesitant, and I'm like, everything that made you a great mobile notary is going to make you even greater remote online notary. You're just transferring from paper to digital, but all the common sense, everything else that you deal with applies. It transfers over.
Do you know what else would make you really good at notary is if you're online.
I knew it was coming.
Because you just said that, I was like,
right? You're like, don't be afraid. He's terrified. Like,
I'm an outlaw. I have to stand out from the crowd. Everybody else is online. I want to be offline.
That don't make sense.
That's not standing out. That's hiding under a rock.
Like, the math is not mathing right now. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
Yet I'm still a full-time Ron. So mad if I was on social media. I take over. Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone. Show's over.
He's done.
Stubbornness talking about for people not wanting to go over to Ron, like that's your same stubbornness with social media. But I'll give it to you, Shawn, only because I won't pick on you too much. But anyways, thank you both.
I will.
Well, also, you're like, I will definitely. And I will also make sure to have your information, because I know you do mentorship. I know you do a bunch of stuff. And so if anybody's interested in contacting either one of these lovely people, all of their information will be in the description. But thank you guys again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Of course. Take care.
Bye.
I'm going to refer the referrer.
Farewell.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.